Here we go.
So you're in a hurry? Well, you better calm down. We're all friends around you, just join the fun. 'Cause if you're in a hurry, you're missing the point. Should enjoy the fruits of life instead of chasing coins. Because it's a beautiful day. Isn't so come on, let's play.
Good morning from the St. Regis Hotel in Chicago. Not my usual starting point for these vlogs, but the coffee's good. So about a month ago, we were sitting on the back patio. I was rattling off all of the things that were happening that week that had happened the previous week and sort of verbally processing it with my husband. And he said, you know, I'm going to take you away. I'm going to take you away for a little trip when school is all done. And this has been something really important for us. And from the very beginning of our marriage, we have always found a way to get a few days to ourselves a couple times a year. We benefit from the fact that we have parents who are in good health who can help us with the children. But there have even been a few times when maybe they've all been away at camp the same week and we've had like a staycation at home just to ourselves, a few days just us to care for and to reconnect. And it helps a lot that this guy over here is like a points guru. He is so good at racking up the rewards points with sign-up bonuses for various and sundry cards and services. And now that he travels even more for work, there's even more of that happening. So even though we haven't had a lot of money in our vacation budget over the years, we've always been able to finagle some nice trips because we use rewards points to book really nice hotels and airfare. On Friday, we packed up the children. We drove to Oklahoma City and dropped them off with their grandparents, and then we hopped on a plane to Chicago. Our first night in Chicago, we stayed at the Drake. It's an historic hotel. Princess Diana stayed there years ago. We just realized that we are staying in this hotel on prom night. There's a whole bunch of prom people, prom goers down below. Yay.
Is the prom here? What?
Yeah, their prom was probably here at the Drake Hotel. Wasn't your prom at the Drake Hotel, honey? At a really snazzy hotel. So the hotel's like a 100-year-old hotel, and it overlooks Lake Michigan, and it's very close to the Miracle Mile.
Magnificent.
Oh, Magnificent Mile. Miracle Mile. It's very close to the Magnificent Mile. And on Friday, we got in a little bit later than normal when we travel. We got a later start. So even though we had a very uneventful day of travel, which is always a good day of travel, we were getting in around dinner time. We checked into the hotel and we headed out the door pretty quickly to catch dinner at Giordano's. Good morning from sunny but chilly Chicago. Feels pretty good out, actually.
Great.
Yeah, upper 50. Is it gonna get
Low
up to
60s.
60s? Low 60s today? We arrived yesterday, kind of got in like later in the evening, had a late dinner at Giordano's. What do you think of Giordano's?
It was amazing. Apparently it's not Giordano's.
Yeah, I say Giordano's.
I have no idea.
There's probably some Chicago
She's
people
corrected me a
who,
few times.
there's probably some people from Chicago who can tell us. But it was one of those places that actually kind of lived up to the hype for us, or maybe we were just really hungry because neither one of us had had a proper meal all day. And we got like one of their smallest pizzas to share, and it was plenty for the two of us. It was so good. So after a delicious dinner at Giordano's and a lovely full night's sleep with no wake up time in the morning, we headed out for a walk and to find some breakfast. And I really wanted to try Stan's Donuts. I'm a big fan of donuts. It's like my favorite dessert / treat. So if we're going someplace that has a famous donut shop, I really want to try it. And I feel like the standard by which a donut shop should be measured is just the plain glazed donut, like the yeast glazed donut. That's my favorite donut, and I think it's kind of like like a standard one. This one was pretty good. It was very fluffy. The glaze was good. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. So it was definitely worth visiting. One thing we did a lot of while we've been here is walk. We did a ton of walking. The weather was beautiful for it. It was a little bit chilly, especially if you were in the shade and the wind, but the area where we are has some really great walking paths. Lots of people were out and about walking. I think I had over 13,000 steps on Friday, over 15,000 on Saturday, and over 13,000 on Sunday, yesterday. So we've definitely gotten our steps in while we've been here.
The bean.
We made it to the bean. After our Saturday morning breakfast ramble and walk around, we headed back to the Drake to pack up because we were switching hotels. We came over to the St. Regis here in Chicago. This is a relatively new hotel in Chicago. In fact, they told us when we pulled up they have only been open for 2 years. St. Regis is a Marriott brand, so it's run by Marriott Bonvoy, and it's one of their kind of high-end luxury hotel chains. Okay, babe, how'd you get the St. Regis?
Just with points, I mean, I've accrued a lot of Marriott points through, I have a Marriott business credit card and a personal credit card, and then that's where I primarily stay on business travel. So
Well, we put like our regular expenses and just pay our cards off every month. That's the short version. There's a much longer version to this. It takes a lot of discipline and organization to do it, but we've stayed some nice places.
we have, yeah.
Sometimes we feel a little bit like the Beverly Hillbillies sneaking into these places because we are not the kind of people who would just like pay cash. We'd have to use our points and our reward certificates for these places. But it's super fun. One of the reasons my husband chose Chicago is because it's pretty easy to get to, especially if you have like any kind of small major airport in your area, and we have 2 in Oklahoma, 1 in Tulsa, 1 in Oklahoma City. But also because the Rangers were visiting Chicago. They were here playing the White Sox, and we planned to catch a couple of their games. So we left the ball game on Saturday when the Rangers were losing 10-5, thinking that we would go find a bar to sit at and watch the Thunder be victorious. But if you follow the NBA, you know that it was like the worst game that the Thunder had played all year long. So our sports teams were definitely not faring well, although we were certainly enjoying ourselves here. One of the things we get as a result of my husband's platinum status with Marriott
Titanium.
Titanium status, he's correcting me, is some kind of breakfast. Sometimes it's like a breakfast voucher for one of their restaurants. Sometimes it's just a credit. For us, it was a $60 per day for not for each of us, like for both of us together at one of the breakfast places. So this morning we're actually enjoying just breakfast in our room. We're getting ready to head out to the airport, so we ordered room service, just like a continental breakfast with fruit and oatmeal and pastries and stuff like that. But yesterday we went down to one of their restaurants to have breakfast, and it was fantastic. My husband got just like the traditional American breakfast, eggs and bacon and hash browns. I had one of their Japanese dishes because it is a Japanese style restaurant, and it was like a pork fried rice for breakfast, and it was absolutely delicious. It was so good. I would not have thought about fried rice for breakfast, although it makes sense. I mean, there's eggs in fried rice. Then we went out for another long walk, probably a little over an hour here in Chicago, before we headed over to the ballpark for the second Rangers game that we were coming to see. Day 2 at the ballpark. We're open we don't have any hopes. Last night, which was Sunday night, my husband actually had reservations at a restaurant, but we went down to have a drink in the hotel bar in one of their restaurants called Tre Vita. It's an Italian restaurant, and then they also have kind of a bar and lounge area that's just a little bit more casual. And I managed to work my magic and convince the husband just to stay on site because I am a huge like Italian food fan, especially cacio e pepe. That's one of my favorite dishes, and we had heard really good things about their pasta dishes here, that they hand make their pasta, that their menu is absolutely amazing. So we ended up just staying on site and having dinner here in the hotel restaurant Tre Vita, and it did not disappoint. It was so good. In fact, my husband looked over at me a few times and was like, this is amazing. Like, he'd never had cacio e pepe before. Maybe he hadn't, but he said this is like one of the best pasta dishes that he'd ever eaten in a restaurant. And that brings us to today. It is Memorial Day, so I want to say thank you, especially to the families of those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country and those who are still serving. We are packing up. We're just kind of sipping our coffee, enjoying our breakfast, and we're gonna head back home, back to life, back to reality, but very much rested, rejuvenated, re-energized, ready to go for the summer.